subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Namaste, konnichiwa. Welcome to the Nupur Theory Show. Let's talk business. Today we'll be talking about business, but very different thing. Luxury. When you talk about luxury, what do you see? You think about spending lots of money, right? And today our guest is going to give different description of luxury, and he is none other than Dr. Mahul Brahma, and he is Delete PhD, author, TEDx speaker, movie maker, actor, communication leader, columnist, luxury commentator, and a painter as well. So with big applause, let's welcome Dr. Mahul Brahma. Namaste, konnichiwa, Mahul. Welcome to the Nupur Theory Show. Let's talk business.
Thank you, Nupur. It's a pleasure to be on your show finally, and I look forward to a great chat.
Thank you. Actually, it's not going to be a great chat. Actually, we are going to be enlightened rather, because the books which you have written, and it is kind of eye-opener. Like, what is luxury? Luxury means something. When we talk about luxury, it is like in front of us, like having a very you have to spend a lot of money, you have to go and stay somewhere, it's all about having kind of luxurious life, so you gave a different dimension, you gave different. I don't think, I don't know anyone did it before you. So you are the pioneer of explaining luxury or giving a different definition of luxury. We'd love to know, like, how it came in your mind and how did you write that book?
Thank you, Nupur. So, it's a very interesting and tempting question. So I tend to always give a very long answer to it. So let's try to keep it as short as possible with my lip. See, what happened is that so I was a journalist for a very long time, and I was a senior editor with the Indian partner of New York Times, and I was basically editor of a luxury supplement. So that is where my journey with luxury started. And I started writing, I started interviewing people, royalty, brand custodians, and of all the best of the worlds. Now, while doing my research, while doing my stories, I realized that the literature on luxury, that is not there. What we have in the name of luxury is literature. So if I look at a very academic perspective of this subject matter of luxury, that is not there. What we have is, glorified product catalogs. So you have a beautiful picture of a product in a glossy paper, and very, very carefully written price on request. So that has been historically the concept with which you capture luxury academically. Okay, so I realized that there is a need for somebody to actually give the right meaning of luxury, because my fight, from that day till today, after my trilogy, which is the Lux trilogy, comprising 3 books, Decoding Lux, Dark Lux, and Lux Inferno, has always been to make luxury more and more inclusive. Because the tenet of the luxury brands is to tell you that you can't afford it, and thus create an aspiration. Now, aspiration, as we discuss in my institute, IIM Calcutta, is an economic term, because aspiration creates a market, and through that market you sell your goods. So for the luxury brands, it's always beneficial to keep luxury as an exclusive thing, unaffordable thing, and that's why what they project is, a bombastic price, um, something that has so many zeros, something you can't afford, you can only aspire. And if you go to a luxury store, and the product that they have on the advertisement, the poster they have on the advertisement, you will never find that product. I'll give you an example. There is a Rolex brand. There's a Rolex watch which is called the Pepsi. So it has the colors of a Pepsi on its bezel, and it's very popular. And Rolex is kind of has been publicizing it, through a Netflix show and all that. And if you go and ask for that, so I have asked for that in India, I have asked for that in Dubai. Okay. And in Dubai, you have a 4-year wait list for that product. 4-year wait list for a watch. Okay. And so that is how you create that aspiration. So the moment you have a 4-year wait list, that aspiration will increase, and they will justifiably hike the price of that watch. So the same a watch in the similar category, and this watch will have a very high premium compared to that, and you won't mind paying that because you're already waiting for 4 years. So somewhere you are, it justifiably pay that premium. So this is the entire money game that happens, So I, after I left, the India partner of New York Times, I started writing columns on luxury for the Economic Times, simplifying every bit of it. So I started writing on how brands create this perception, how customers, they are categorized in different segments. There are customers who only flaunt. They are the flaunters. There are customers who are connoisseurs. You have the wine connoisseur, you have a watch connoisseur, you have a single malt connoisseur and all that, horologists and all that. So you have that kind of people who are connoisseurs. They are not the flaunters. They will not showcase the brand that they buy. Similarly, there are people who are into the design, the craftsmanship, and similarly, so we have different kind of customers for luxury brands, and luxury brands need to know that. So my first book was basically Decoding Lux was basically on the evolution of luxury. So, for example, in the 1920s, India has a very interesting relationship with luxury. During the time of the Maharajas, Rolls-Royce's 25% of its sales used to come only from India in the 1920s. Okay. Cartier, till date, has the biggest consignment from India, from Maharaja of Patiala, and which is the famous Patiala crown necklace. So it's a necklace for the crown, not this, but for the crown. So it has over 2,000 diamonds and 235 carat centerpiece. So you can understand, and all are DBS diamonds. Okay. The Nizam, he had a set of 50 postmen to deliver his personal messages, and they all used to ride Harley Davidson. And this is how India is historically made. We had Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir having Louis Vuitton crafting for him luggage for his golf set, for his tea set, to carry the records for his table turner and all that. So customized luggages for this gentleman to be carried. There was one for keeping the spices, so that when the Maharaja travels, the spices he likes.
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, customized bag to carry the spices. So his cook will use those spices and make him food in whichever world he's traveling to. So this is the customization, and this is the luxury that we are talking about. That is the history of India. And then how through evolution we we changed, our mindset changed, and anything and everything post-independence, which was even remotely calling of luxury, was disdained on. Okay. And again, it changed. So again, today, people are, flaunting luxury and all that. I live in Calcutta, and in Calcutta, if you step out, you'll see that how luxury is flaunted here. Delhi, I was in Delhi, and Delhi is another place, and Delhi is much more than we have it in Calcutta.
Exactly.
So that transition has now again begun, wherein there is, and by now I mean for the past, say, 10 years or 15 years or so, wherein people are flaunting their fast cars, people are flaunting their expensive watches, people are flaunting their multi-million dollar houses and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The thing that is wrong is that I don't want to live in that multi-million dollar house or that $1 million yacht, okay, that you are flaunting. Great, okay. But it doesn't mean that you take away luxury from me. So luxury, more than anything, is a concept. That concept includes craftsmanship. That concept includes a meticulous work of somebody, in a remote hamlet in Venice, or, in a remote village somewhere, who has a craftsmanship which nobody else has. You cannot replicate it through a machine, no matter how much money you have. There's something called shatush. Shatush is a shawl, and shatush is from, I think, the hair of the wool of an antelope. Okay, and they basically scrape their back on the rocks, and to make one shatush shawl, you need, I think, around 10 years or 11 years to just collect that quantity of wool from the bodies of the rocks. And then you make that shatush shawl. So no wonder shatush shawl is such a such an expensive thing, because of the exquisiteness. Now, whether you buy a shatush or not, the fact that you cannot go without appreciating the fact the painstaking collection of the wool, the painstaking processing of the shawl, and the painstaking craftsmanship of that old man who's been who's been weaving shatush for the past 50 years. So I thought that I'll talk about it. So with the first book, I wrote on the evolution of luxury and the history of luxury in India. Trying to, and from the first book, my idea was to break this luxury mold and break this exclusivity factor, wherein it's only price. So the myopic value of luxury equals price tag. I wanted to break that. And so the first book was on that. The second book was basically a work of fiction on luxury and crime. So for example, there are stories wherein, so how luxury stays a witness of crime, and there were stories which I came to know during my discussions with members of the royal family and all that, which of course I didn't name them or anything, but I wanted to share those stories. For example, somebody, so somebody who is in a life of luxury, who's only using Louis Vuitton bags and driving Rolls Royces and all that. So when that person commits a crime, that Rolls Royce or that Louis Vuitton bag becomes an accessory, becomes a witness. And that's why there is suppose in the yacht somebody is murdered, and that yacht is a witness to that murder. If so, there's a story wherein somebody is murdered in a yacht, and the person is murdered with the very expensive champagne, Dom Pion, and so this champagne bottle is the witness to it. The yacht is a witness to it. The champagne is an accessory to it. Okay.
It sounds so interesting. So I'd like to request viewers to at least, the first book already you explained. The second book you're explaining the luxury and crime. This is sounding so interesting, though it is crime, but
I'll show you the cover of the
Please
book.
do. And the viewers, please do read.
This is the first book, which is
Okay.
Decoding Lux.
Decoding Lux.
This is the second book, which the viewers will find very interesting because these are all short stories.
Okay.
Luxury and crime. So the champagne thing is here, and
Okay.
this is the third book, which is
Okay.
Inferno.
Inferno.
So
Yes.
this is the trilogy. Okay, it's available on Amazon. Kindle version is there, so the viewers can read it. So
Yeah.
so the third book. So moving from, so I wanted to basically break that mold of product cataloging, and that's why I wrote Dark Lux, so that people can experience luxury in a very different way, where the product is not there. The products themselves are telling the story, and the stories are from the product's perspective. So the protagonist is the champagne bottle, the protagonist is the yacht, and they are telling the story from their perspective, how they witnessed a murder, or how they were accessory to a murder. Or a Louis Vuitton, wherein there's somebody's murdered and the body is kept in that Louis Vuitton trunk. So that Louis Vuitton trunk is a witness to that. There is this very interesting story of a Maharaja who basically was in London, and he walked into a Rolls-Royce store, Rolls-Royce boutique, and the manager of the boutique did not allow him because of his skin color. So the next day he proclaimed that he's a Maharaja to the center, the Rolls-Royce's main office and all that, and they had a red carpet for him. So he went the next day, and there were 6 cars, and he bought all the 6s just to spite the manager and tell him that I am the Maharaja and you made a mistake. So he got them shipped. Once they reached his kingdom, he got the Rolls Royces decked up, okay, and then he made the Rolls Royces go around the city, or around his kingdom, collecting garbage. So he converted those 6 Rolls Royces into garbage collectors, okay. And it was a huge furore for Rolls-Royce. They came and they, apologized, because this ruined Rolls-Royce's reputation across the globe. Okay, because Rolls-Royce is reputation. So if you're using that car for collecting garbage around the city, around the kingdom, you can understand what it is. So it's all driven by ego. So I wrote a story in Dark Lux wherein it's a revenge. So if the story was told from the perspective of a Rolls Royce who is converted into a garbage from the London store, what would it be? And what if the Rolls Royce took revenge? Okay, so that was.
And it's a true story.
Not the revenge part, but the
Okay.
story is true.
Okay.
The story is true. You can Google
Okay.
it. It's there. The story is true. I just extended it, and wanted to give a perspective of what would have happened if the story was told from the perspective of the Rolls Royce. So
True.
when the car is born, in the in the studio, and it knows that it is the ride for the kings and the millionaires and the billionaires, and it is all reputation, and then its life is reduced to a garbage collector. What happens? So I told the story from the perspective of the Rolls Royce. So this is Dark Lux for you.
This is really sounding so interesting. Like, I can't wait to read it. So I'm sure the viewers also very much would be interested.
On Amazon and Kindle version. Dark Lux is also available as an audiobook from Audible.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Dark Lux is also available as
So
an audio.
for the viewers, I would like to say that Dr. Brahma is not actually, yeah, and I just introduced, I called him Mahul, but yeah, he's Dr. Brahma, he's Dr. Mahul, and he's not only a writer, he has long list, as I explained before. So it is like he has such a balanced life. I think that is the thing which is responsible for giving us so many product. He's not only a writer, not only for a journalist, definitely, but he's a movie maker and he's an actor as well. So we'd love to know, how do you balance these life? Because today's life, especially the youngster, everybody's in stress, everybody's really, they're struggling to bring the balance in life. How do you balance? This is the really we would love to know.
See, we were having this discussion earlier, offline, if you remember, and spiritualism is something that uh, you have to look at, if not anything, but as a tool to maintain that balance. So the two things which I think are responsible for me being able to have a full-fledged corporate life, have a have a have an author's life, have a painter's life, have an actor's life or a filmmaker's life, and and as well have a personal life with my family. Uh, is two things are responsible. One is spiritualism, to be which helps give you that peace of mind which you need to do multiple things up to their potential, and not less than their potential. So if I can do 100, I will not stop at 5. I will go the entire way. Um, so that is one. Second is time management. Because if you look at today, if you speak to people, and you do more than anybody, that people always complain that I don't have time. Where will I read the book? I so wanted to read this one book, and for the past 4 months, 5 months, I'm not getting any time to read this book. Something that you want to read, or a movie that I want to watch, and I'm not able to watch it. Or I want to take my family out for a nice weekend vacation, and I'm not able to do that. So time for yourself or time for family. I see this complaint only increasing, and given the current scenario of the pandemic, I think the lack of time reverberance has increased a lot. So people are saying, I don't have time, I'm just working, and everybody is kind of wearing a burnout badge, especially in the corporate, and I can see that. See, the times are tough, and we are all working extra, and because we all want to keep our organizations afloat and strong and everything. But at the same time, if I am not able to refresh my system, I am bringing a tired, exhausted system to the workflow the next day, which cannot deliver outcome to the best of its capacity. If my mind is not fresh the next day, and I still carry a lingering uh, uh, weight of the previous day's exhaustion, I am doing a disservice to the organization. So the most important thing is to be able to allocate your time. So you know, uh, I am a morning person, so I get up early, and I usually go and play golf, which is say twice a week. All the rest of the days of the week, between 6 to 7, I write. Okay, and no matter what, on holiday or not holiday, I write every day between 6 to 7, and I start my office work at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, so, even when I was going to office on a daily basis, I was going early so that I can start my work at 8. And similarly now, now it's working from home, so it is convenient for me to start. Now, the thing is, uh, so after that I start my work. Once my work is over, then and I try to finish my work by 6 o'clock, 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and then I have free time. Instead of uh, extending that, I put a hard stop there, so that the rest of the time I'm able to rejuvenate myself with 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 my family time, by having a making maybe a walk, or refreshing myself or doing a painting or something like that. And then, so when I go to sleep, I only don't do one thing. I do that one thing which is the need of the hour, which is my office work. Along with it, I do things which I love to do. So that and spend time with people who I love. So that entire package of a day, wherein I am giving time to things that I love and things that I need to do in a very balanced way, that helps me start a fresh day the next day. And again do things that I love. So I don't postpone the things that I love. I don't postpone the things that I need to do, because there are people on the other extreme who say, I want to be an author, so I left my job. And then if you go back to them, the first thing they'll tell you after the first 2 months of excitement that, oh God, I feel so frustrated. You don't have to leave anything to do anything. So one day when I realized that, yes, I really want to, that 1 hour that I give every day is good enough for me to, publish 5 books till date. With a full-time job and with a full-time, not compromising on anything. And on top of it, I did my PhD, I did my MBA, whatever. All that is happening along with it.
So for the viewers, I would like to say that Mahul is luxury product, actually, very much, So that is, he is very down to earth. His modesty that he is with, he is what he is. Whenever I call him, he's always available. So that is definitely his modesty. He's a luxury product, and it is. Like, can you imagine one person, and he's not even close to 50 or 45 or anything. He's just very young, very, very young. Just 40. So within 40 years, he finished everything. He wrote 5 books. He did MBA, PhD. He was a journalist. He worked for, one of the best publishing house. Economics Time, then the New York Times, right? So can you imagine that these things he has been doing? So I think what I have concluded, Mahul, that I think your spirituality helped you with everything.
Yes. So every day, what I didn't tell you before before I start my day and before I go to sleep, I spend, say, half an hour to 45 minutes meditating. And if that 45 minutes extends to 1 hour, that's fine. But I do it once I wake up, that quiet alone time wherein you are with yourself, that time, and the quiet alone time just before I go to sleep. That helps me a lot. And I would request people to, even if you think meditation is difficult, you have a healer on the other side of the screen. So, please take her help. And please do that, because it is very powerful. And it just is very powerful. We tend to kind of undervalue saying that what's going to happen, you just sit quiet and just breathe and all that. It is very powerful. And I have been, on this journey of not only practicing meditation, but I also read a lot of spiritual texts and, I write on spiritual text, on Advaita Vedanta, non-duality and all that. It just helps me, and it just is something else. I can see, I think, autobiography of a yogi on your, am I right?
Yes. Yes.
So that is what helps me stay anchored. And it's not only about meditating, it is also about reading, it's also about writing, it's also about, basically being in that zone wherein you are conscious of your being consciously, and that helps you a lot.
Totally. So consciousness is very important.
Very important.
Very important. So I did not even say he's a painter, he's a movie maker, he's an actor. Like, you just name anything he had done, and this is just the beginning of his life. And he has the full-time corporate job as well, and he's superb at that. So these are the things, like if he can do, definitely there is no. I'm not comparing anyone with anybody, but I think if Mahul can do, I think we all can do. Right? Maybe not that extent, but yeah, at least we can try doing that.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
and we are all different, and we are
we are
all
all
here
different.
are things, things which we are born, we are given this life for, and till the time we honestly realize what are we here for, we should keep doing good work, and good work is should be the only parameter, only compass that determines what we are doing, and
Totally.
that is what is going to stay with us. So even if we are not sure why we are here for, what is our calling, because there are people who are very sure, from a very early age, and they are very lucky. So I realized that I really wanted to be a writer, and I realized that late, but I thankfully was a journalist from the age of 21. So I had that advantage. So I've always written, and therefore my being a writer, when I realized that I really wanted to be a writer, an author, I had no problem. So subconsciously I was in a system wherein writing was a part of my day job, and and my office was also, as a communications head, I also, writing is also an integral part of that job. So writing has always been an integral part of what I do as a day job, because writing is something that I cannot separate. So if you ask me not to write from tomorrow, I will not be able to do that. So similarly, there are people who realize their calling at a very early age. So we are all here to do different things, and that's the
True.
beauty of it.
That's a
And we
beautiful thing.
and we all should do that, and not say that I want to write my book, so I give away everything. I leave my family, I go to Dharamshala or in the Himalayas and spend 6 months to write a book. People might do that. I have no problem with that, but I can't. My system is that if I want to do something, I'll do it. Uh, you know, I remember I got my first publisher after 2 years. So my thing was very simple. I most of my friends who are journalists, and they told me that the way to write your first book is that you go and meet a publisher, and you understand what the market need is, and then you write a book, and therefore your book will have a you get money initially, and then that will keep you going and all that. Now I thought about it, and then I thought that, see, I already have a day job. Okay, so if in writing a book I will have to follow somebody else's instructions, that this is the need of the market and this is what it is. So I want to write a book on luxury, and the person will say that no, luxury doesn't have a market. You write a love story, a teenage love story, that has the biggest market and you'll be a hit, and please go ahead and do that. I have nothing against a teenage love story, but I am not a teenage love story writer. So that is not what I want to do. So I thought that let me write the book and then find a publisher, because I didn't want to be dictated by people. So I have changed publishers because publishers have not agreed to, with my thought process or with my creativity. But it doesn't matter. What matters is the end product of the book. The end product of the book is what I wanted it to be. And and
Exactly.
and there are readers who love it, and that is my satisfaction. So a concept like luxury and crime, nobody ever wrote anything on that. Had I listened to the market, I wouldn't have been able to bring out my second book. I would have stuck in my first book, or maybe not there also.
It's such
So
a pressure, when somebody is dictating you, you don't know, like it's always in fear. Somebody is dictating you. You're not yourself, and we are not born to be somebody else. We are born to be ourselves, and I think so. Right? Yeah. So I
in
think
pursuit, you cannot be directed. In a
no.
creative pursuit, you have to do what you think is right, be it a painting or a writing or a dance or a singing or anything. In a creative
Exactly.
pursuit, you have to be independent, only listening to your inner voice. There is no.
Exactly. Exactly. So our discussion, like one episode, I think it is not going to be enough because we have separate subject. Like he has written 5 books, the 5 subject, then his own experience of life, his spirituality, his corporate experience. And like we need like so many episodes for that. And viewers, we would like to request viewers that we will be back with you. So we want viewers to give us questions. So accordingly, we'll be making our next episode on those.
So before we conclude, I would just take 2 more minutes. As I was talking about the price tag and all that, so I devised a concept. It is basically an anthropological concept called the mythic value, and I studied luxury and put it in luxury, and I've written an academic paper on that, and my TEDx talk is also on the mythic value of luxury. So basically what it is, mythic value is, so we all know what myth is, and we all know that myth stays on, no matter what, for hundreds of years. Myths live. Now, what is that one factor that makes myths stay alive in the minds of people for such a long period? The factor is a myth is an embodiment of two contradictions. And because it is an embodiment of two contradictions, myth has this power called a mythic value, which helps it stay over time, makes it timeless. So if you remember, this painting at the back is of the thinker. The thinker is that character which sits like this and thinks. The one with a very muscular character and who's thinking. So it's created by Auguste Rodin. Okay, and Rodin's created this, and Thinker is not one of his best work, but it's the most memorable work because it is an embodiment of two contradictory things, body and mind. Okay, so that's what makes the Thinker timeless. Now I thought that so luxury also, there are reasons why luxury brands, some of the luxury brands, have been able to sustain that that timelessness for say from the time of the Maharajas to now. If we still know the name of Cartier, there has to be a reason why they are doing it. So I visited one of the Cartier stores and in Europe, and I saw that they have this photograph of this Maharaja of Patiala, okay, wearing that crown necklace, and it's very prominently displayed. Okay, so I thought about that. Why would you do that? Where you have the best of the European models and all that. Why would you do that? So that made me thinking, and with this concept of anthropological concept of mythic value, I realized that what it does is, look at the photograph. You have an Indian, okay, a native Maharaja with a certain color of skin. You have a male, okay, and then you have a diamond necklace. So the contradiction of a man, wearing a diamond necklace and a native wearing an epitome of a European brand, these are the contradictions which make it timeless. So similarly, brands very intelligently use it, maybe without knowing it. But I just, wanted to put an academic perspective to it, and I did my TEDx talk on that as well. So that's all from my side. I wanted to bring in that interesting concept.
Wonderful, wonderful. And today, I think the Bengal is going through, since you are from Bengal and I'm from Bengal as well, going through the crisis, I guess, whatever it is. I think the people, we need people, and you, like people like you can, again, the people can say, we can say that, yes, we think before India think, right? So yes, look at you. You're proving that proverb that yes, we think today, you think tomorrow. So yes, so very proud of you, Mahul. And as I said, that this is that one day, one episode is not enough because we have a lot to discuss on different topic. And so we are requesting viewers again, please, your questions do write to us, your questions accordingly we'll be making our next episode. So thank you so much, Mahul. Thank you so much.
Pleasure chatting with you always, and it just so much positivity you fill my day with. So it's a great way to start. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And namaste.
Thank you, dear audience. Yeah. Thank you. Namaste.
So everyone, that was our episode with Dr. Mahul Brahma, and I'm sure that you have learned a lot of things about luxury. Not only luxury, but how to be stable, how to balance your life as well. As I requested, if you have questions, do let us know. We'll be with you with another episode with Dr. Mahul Brahma. Tomorrow we have another show, the Nupur Tiwari show with Vedveer Aryaji. We will come to know about Indian history. So everyone, stay tuned.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.